Hello, greetings, dear ones. I am right now on the Arunachala Hill, holy Arunachala Hill in Tiruvannamalai, and came here at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it's close to 6 a.m. now. I don't know if the visibility is there; it's very less yet. I'm sitting here contemplating on some beautiful things here. Was here for Mahashivratri, and this hill is like my abode. It's like my home. Been coming here for 14-15 years now. Something that pulls me again and again to this place. I love to be here all the time. I was sitting right now here, contemplating on the Shiva Tattva here. Lord Shiva in the Agni form. This whole hill is supposed to be Shiva himself. This hill in Tiruvannamalai, called Arunachala, is supposed to be holier than even Kailash, so they say. This is because in Kailash it is said that Lord Shiva resides in Mount Kailash. But here in Arunachala, the whole hill itself is Lord Shiva. This place has a lot of significance. It's even mentioned in the Puranas. It has been here since post Satyuga. For yugas, it is said that the subtle form of Shiva, the Agni form, the fire form of Shiva, converted into the gross, that is this hill. I have been having ecstatic moments here this morning. Something pulled me from my room early morning at 3 a.m. and I got ready and began walking towards this place. Early morning I was here, it was pitch dark, and I was contemplating on the Shiva Tattva. The Shiva Tattva that is so subtle. I was reading yesterday in Ramanashram, the Ribu Gita. Ribu Gita, holy Ribu Gita. Ribu Gita is nothing but the revelations of the secrets by Lord Shiva himself. Ribu Gita is a part of the Shiva Rahasya Sutras, meaning the secret of Shiva. One of the chapter itself is Ribu Gita. I guess it is chapter 6. Ribu Gita is supposed to be Lord Shiva's revelations about the deeper mysteries for those who can fathom it. Obviously, it cannot be easily fathomed because not everybody might be ready for it. Like I had been speaking about how Lord Krishna gave the Bhagavad Gita to his friend Arjuna, the Kshatriya, the warrior. And he gave the Uddhav Gita, the wisdom, the higher wisdom of liberation to his friend, another friend, Uddhav. What he gave to Uddhav, he did not give to Arjuna. What he gave to Arjuna, he knew Uddhav did not need it because he had already transcended that wisdom. What he gave to Arjuna was most of gross stuff, the worldly knowledge, how to survive in this world, how to function in this world, how to be a householder, how to be a warrior, how to run your kingdom, how to protect yourself, how to create for yourself, how to look after yourself, your loved ones, the society. That's all Bhagavad Gita is all about. See the hill here. But the Uddhav Gita, he preserved it for the one who has transcended the grossness. And before Krishna left his body, he gave it to Uddhav, who himself came seeking for this wisdom to Lord Krishna. He knew Uddhav was ready. So he asked him to wind up as soon as possible because he said the Kali Yuga is approaching. Lord Krishna said, I myself am leaving from here because the Kali Yuga is approaching. However, you might want to take that meaning. He just simply advised Uddhav, there is nothing much for you to do because you have done and undone all the things that has to be done. So what you need right now is give up everything and go to the forest. Go to the forest, not as a runaway, because Uddhav was not someone who would run away. He was much in the world, but he had completed and he had overcome. He had transcended all the worldliness. So, it was not given to Arjuna because he was still in the world and he was needed in the world and he needed the world. Uddhav was beyond it. So he just simply said, give up your final little things that you have held. That is not liberating you. The moment you do that, you will be liberated. And he said, do it as soon as possible because I myself am leaving from here. And that is how he gave the Uddhav Gita. I have done it. I have talked more about it in one of my live sessions. If you are interested, you may look into it. And similarly, whenever I come to Tiruvannamalai or whenever I think of Ramana here, I am reminded of Ribhu Gita because Ramana Maharishi, a great man, he was the one who asked one of his disciples, one Mr. Iyer, to write the commentary on Ribhu Gita, the Sanskrit verses, holy script, because he thought he was capable enough to do that, his disciple. And yes, with the grace of his master, he did that. He wrote the commentary. So it was like Ramana indirectly writing through Mr. Iyer. And that's how Ramanashram has published this Ribhu Gita. Ribhu Gita is obviously provided, the commentary has been provided by many people. So Ribhu Gita has different versions of commentary. But what I like is the one published by Ramanashram. Because of its simplicity and direct approach of interpreting and revealing the words of Lord Shiva himself. Again, as I told you, this video or these insights or these details might not be of much interest to the most, and it's okay. I am talking about this and conveying this to the ones who are interested in this. Maybe a handful, that's fine. So yesterday, whole day I was, all that was on my mind was the Ribhu Gita. What is Ribhu Gita now? What Shiva gave to his devotee named Ribhu is Ribhu Gita. He revealed this to Ribhu. Just like Lord Krishna revealed it to Uddhav, who was ready for it. So Ribhu was one who was ready for it. The higher truths. Lord Shiva revealed it to him. Lord Shiva is who? Lord Shiva is pure awareness. The Ribhu Gita, when I opened the book, it begins, the first word begins with Shiva is pure awareness. Yeah, the hill is now little more visible. The stones here on which I am sitting, this part of the hill is an isolated place. This is not where people walk much. The path is on the other side. There are multiple paths here to reach the top, and one of the paths is from behind Ramanashram. And I came from that path only, but I took a deviation to this isolated spot, and since morning I'm here. This is a beautiful place where you cannot be disturbed. This hill is full of siddhas and mighty beings, both in the gross and subtle forms, mostly in the subtle forms. So when we come here, we must respect the space and respect the privacy of these beings, these great ones. So I was saying, Lord Shiva revealed it to Ribhu, and Ribhu then further gave it to one of his disciples, who then composed it well, the whole text, which then came to be known as Gita. Gita is the science of what was revealed to Ribhu. So I wouldn't want to talk more of that. I don't feel I'm authorized to talk about Ribhu Gita, but this text always enchants me. So those who love this, you may refer to. You may even go into the audio version, which Ramanashram has beautifully produced. So you can just type in YouTube Ribhu Gita Ramana, and you will get some audio links. It is closely about 3 hours. I have listened to it twice. Beautiful. Now Ribhu Gita are affirmations. Like we have got affirmations we use. Okay, I got scared. What was that? Monkeys. So it was a loud noise. So Ribhu Gita is a set of affirmations. Affirmations like what we do for wealth, for health, for abundance. So many affirmations that we use. I am wealthy, I am healthy, blah blah blah. So that we all know, the whole world knows. But what the whole world doesn't know is there are affirmations for salvation, for mukti, for moksha, for realizing the self, for self-realization. Ribhu Gita is a set of affirmations. So if you affirm, and if you listen to it, or if you chant, or if you say it again and again, or read it again and again, you are affirming into your subconscious the highest truth of what Lord Shiva revealed. In that he has revealed how Lord Shiva is pure awareness, which I on and often talk about. I talk because here I am talking on shifting into awareness, and this is the same awareness that I am talking about. What you have got, you are awareness. You are that awareness which is listening to even this. You are that awareness which is seeing this video. That pure awareness. You are that self. What is self? Self is a part of Shiva, because you are that speck of light. So the great light, the cosmic light, is Shiva. Light is referred to as Shiva. Light, because this is a beam of light. This hill is a beam of light, is a pillar of light. The Lord Shiva, you do your research, presented here as a pillar of light. The Agni Lingam, which is there in Arunachaleshwara temple, the huge Arunachaleshwara temple, is the form of Shiva in the Agni Swarupa. You go near the Shivlinga, the great Shivlinga, you'll sense the heat because it produces heat. That is the property of light. It produces heat and light. I was in the train while I was coming to Tiruvannamalai, and I met a great scientist who was acquainted with the Defense Department, the Government of India Department, and he is now retired. So he was from Kumbakonam. He and his wife, elderly, were traveling, and a beautiful person he was. He has even worked with Sri Abdul Kalam, and he mentioned a few of his insights and his talks and conversations with Abdul Kalam, the greatness of Abdul Kalam. So I was asking him a lot of questions on the atomic science, the physics, the quantum physics, and he was beautifully explaining all those. He was well versed in all those things. So talking, I came to that point of light, and then he told me the property of light. The first thing that he said was what light produces, how it manifests. And what it produces? It produces heat and light. There are two properties of this power. So I was trying to connect the spirituality and the science. And I was talking to him about the Shiva Tattva, this property of light and awareness, and he was able to connect it, though he was not a very spiritual person, but he was able to connect it. And slowly I asked him lot of questions, all regarding the atoms and the what you call the theories of Anu, the Anu Vigyan, the molecular and atomic science, and the whole journey, almost whole journey, hours together. We were discussing this. It was very interesting. And finally, after he was convinced in some way that all this knowledge that he has and what he is talking is nothing but deep spirituality. First he was very gross. Slowly he turned subtle and he understood. And then, while he was convinced, he began asking questions on and his doubts on spirituality, about births and how the cosmos is formed and what is karma, and how this happens. He said, as a scientist, I've always been in doubt of these things. And the blessed opportunity, and the grace of my master, the grace of Lord Shiva, I was able to convey a few beautiful things of how much little knowledge I have on this. And he was very convinced and very happy, and he was astounded by it. And we ended the conversation late at night. He went to sleep. I was up in just 2 hours of sleep. The whole bogie was sleeping, and I was sitting again contemplating, and he came in again, spoke to me. Because he was very keen to meet once more before we actually depart. Great human being he was, and he bid us goodbye. So he's from Kumbakonam. Anyways, I was talking about the physics, the science aspect of this spirituality. So Shiva. You might be hearing the birds. So Shiva. Even while I was coming here, I was happy to find one doctor, Pradeep Ullal. It was a great mistake, and a young master whom somehow I had come across. I've never met him personally, but I've exchanged a couple of words with him long back when I wanted to. I was en route from Kanjangad to some deep locations in Karnataka, and he has an ashram in Chikmagalur, in the forests and mountains of Chikmagalur. So I was interested to go there, and for some reason I couldn't go there, and some reason it was not happening, and that is when I happened to communicate with him, and he was kind enough to invite me to his ashram. I haven't been there, but then I came to know while I was traveling here that he is here on this hill, on this holy hill, doing his Himalayan activities and guiding his disciples and team. So I was very happy to see that he is here, because he is one person I have loved to know about. So, yes, I talked about him because he said one statement in one of his post sharings about Shiva, just one day before Mahashivratri, because I contemplated on that literally. He said, Shiva is so pure, the purest awareness, He didn't say the purest awareness, but I'm saying the purest of pure awareness is Shiva. Shiva can be referred as God, Allah, whatever, whichever principle you call it. The Shiva principle is nothing but the God principle or the Allah principle. Different languages, but the tattva, the element is just the same. So Hindus might want to use it as Shiva. Muslims might want to use it as Allah. Christians might want to use it as God, and so on, so forth. So what he said it captured my heart. He said, Shiva is so pure that he doesn't know that he is pure. Shiva is so pure that he doesn't even know he is so pure. He is not aware of his purity. Because if someone becomes aware of the gunas, pure or impure, that is not complete purity. Because there is some guna there. So beautifully in one sentence he said, Shiva is so pure that it is not even aware of its own purity. That's the God principle. That's awareness in itself, that is not aware of its awareness. Most beautiful. I found that statement as the highest statement. I put it in my heart while I was traveling to Tiruvannamalai, and I was contemplating on that. Very beautifully put it. This is how Shiva can be defined. You step down from that level, then it gets grosser, it becomes more dual, and once it becomes dual, then it takes form and shape, and then it goes on becoming grosser. Then it can become diverse and into deities and forms. Like Shiva has so many forms. It can take multiple forms, and it can go on becoming grosser and more diversified. So what I am trying to say is getting it back and condensing it to the highest form, to the highest truth. That one point, and I am contemplating on that highest point, nothing less than that. So it's not a compromise on anything. I believe all the seekers of liberation would like to contemplate on that, or they must be contemplating on that. That's how I believe all the great seers, the great masters who are in that state of that blissful state, that's that Shivom state, that state of who are liberated, are in that state of Shiva Tattva. Shivatva. So I was reading some, and even today morning I was listening to the audio verses of that, in which there are so many, so much clarity of what Shiva is and what Shiva is not. So all the entire scripture of Ribhu Gita is pointing towards unwinding yourself and revealing your own self out. When you find out who you are not, you become aware of who you are. So one way of knowing who you are is to become aware of who you are not. When you become aware of who you are not, you are shrugging it off. You are not identifying with it. When you don't identify it, you are shrugging off who you are not. And when you shrug off who you are not, spontaneously you are in that state of who you are, the real I. And I believe that self-realization. This trip has been very beautiful for me. For these kind of contemplation. This Mahashivratri has been excellently beautiful for me. We did the parikrama, we did the Girivallam whole night, we didn't sleep. And no tiredness. Before that, and also in the train, I just slept for 2 hours, and I don't know if that was deep also, but since then it has been no sleep, but there is no tiredness here. Today morning again I'm here. Yesterday again I slept for 2.5 hours, and again morning I'm here. What I'm trying to say is the beauty and freshness of this cosmic intelligence. When you connect to this being, this beautiful essence of the highest glory. So, in some of the few verses, as I told, Shiva is revealing who he is not. And he says in one of the verses, that Shiva doesn't exist, Brahma doesn't exist, Vishnu doesn't exist. These are all creations of the mind. See the highest. I know it might be hard to digest this. But I'm not saying this. Lord Shiva himself said. It's like Neti. This is not true. This is not true. This doesn't exist. This is not. This is not this, not this, not this. So he's telling what I am not, what Shiva is not. And he said, he is nothing that is mentioned in the scriptures. He is not anything that is identified or defined, anything that is definable. He's not. Usually when I speak this, it's like a little offensive. Or I understand that's because we hold very strong beliefs and identities, not just of our own self, but of that in which we believe. So if we believe in Shiva or God, we have a lot of identities connected with that. And we cling on not to that pure awareness, but we cling on to the identities of that awareness which makes us stuck. And this is called ignorance. When we can able to pierce through this, it's piercing through that ignorance, clearing that ignorance and understanding who that Shiva Tattva is. In understanding that Shiva Tattva, you understand your essence, who you are as that soul. You understand you realize yourself. Or by understanding and contemplating on all this, when you realize who you are, when you realize the self, you automatically realize the Shiva. I don't know what I'm saying, if it makes sense, but I was prompted to make this video. And yes, I was singing a beautiful song sitting on these rocks in that darkness here. Now it's okay. It's all opened up. And the song was, it might be of conflict to you or it might be of confusion to you. But I'm crystal clear about it. The song that Atif Aslam has sung in Coke Studio, Wahi Khuda Hai. This was beautifully sung before by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab. But that was recreated very beautifully, which I listened to on and often. And absolutely there is no difference. There is nothing weird about it. There's nothing. It is not away from the absolute truth. It is not away even an ounce from the Advaita philosophy, from non-duality. It is pure, sheer, pure non-duality that song talks about. There are some Urdu words in that, it's tongue twisting, but the meaning overall is very beautiful. It says, Wahi Khuda Hai. So, what happened beautifully was, I was talking to the scientist and when I told him about Islam and the connection of this song, that comes to my mind, what we was talking about Advaita, and I said how all these religions are so beautifully risen to that highest of every religion. It is pure non-duality. First he was not impressed, but later as I revealed to him, even when I read this, Wahi Khuda, I listened to this and I told him, tell me what is duality in this? Where is duality in this? This is pure Advaita. He could agree to it. So the song says, Koi to hai jo nizam-e hasti chala raha hai. Somebody is there who is running this whole cosmos. Someone is there. And then he says, Wahi Khuda hai, Wahi Khuda hai, Wahi Khuda hai. That itself is God. That itself is Khuda. That itself is Shiva, whatever you call it. So he says, Koi to hai jo nizam-e hasti chala raha hai, wahi Khuda hai. Koi to hai jo nizam-e hasti chala raha hai, wahi Khuda hai. दिखाई भी जो न दे नजर भी जो आ रहा है, वही खुदा है. दिखाई भी दे, which can be seen, और जो नजर भी न आए. दिखाई भी दे और जो नजर भी आ रहा है. दिखाई भी ना दे और जो नजर भी आ रहा है. Means what cannot be seen and yet can be seen. What cannot be perceived but yet can be perceived, वही खुदा है, वही शिवा है, वही God है. I don't know the central word. Yeah, one beautiful verse is तलाश उसको न कुर्बतों में, वो है बदलती हुई रुखों में. तलाश उसको न कुर्बतों में. Don't search for him in the grossness. तलाश उसको कुर्बतों में, वो है बदलती हुई रुखों में. He is in the changing seasons. Don't search him in the grass. तलाश उसको न कुर्बतों में, वो है बदलती हुई रुतों में. जो दिन को रात और रात को दिन बना रहा है, वही खुदा है, वही शिवा है, वही खुदा है. जो दिन को रात और रात को दिन बना रहा है. The one who is making the day, making the night, or making the day to night and night to day, वही खुदा है, वही शिवा है. He is that God principle. He is that Shiva. He is that Allah. Then I don't know. There's a little complication in the two, but as far as I remember, नजर भी रखे समाते भी, नजर भी रखे समाते भी, नजर भी रखे समाते भी. The one who watches you. वो जान लेता है नियते भी. He also knows your intentions, watches upon you, looks at you, who perceives you, and who knows your intention. Then I don't know, the words are जो खाना ए लाशूर में जगमगा रहा है, वही खुदा है, वही शिवा है, वही खुदा है, वही शिवा है. The one who is shining himself as the cosmic light in this cosmos, जगमगा रहा है रोशनी बन के, वही खुदा है, वही खुदा है, वही शिवा है. I'm amazed with this because today morning I was singing, and as soon as I sang this in this darkness, I began crying, tears of joy. So I can relate it with my heart and soul that this is the ultimate truth. And then I wanted to share this joy of this revelation that this holy hill has given me today. Very beautifully. I thought I'll record this. That's how I came here. So dear ones, I don't know if you like this video or what, but if you liked it, if you feel you can share it with someone who can relate with this, please do so. I pray for all of you here. We pray for the ascension of everybody. Please take some moments, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to pray for the world also, to pray for those who are lesser privileged than us, to those who are struggling in their lives with the karmic things that they got to unwind with. Things might be difficult for them. Let us support them through our prayers and good intentions. Let us support the people who are suffering in Ukraine, not just Ukraine and other so many countries, the suppressed ones, the unliberated ones who are not yet free, who are controlled or dominated for whatever reasons of the ego. Let them all be free. Today I am praying from here for this cause. And if you can join me by this end of this video, and as soon as you finish this video, if you can just stop for a while, pray for them, it would do a great help. What use are we as spiritual beings? What use are we as workers of light? What use are we if we are awakened and we do not contribute to the greater cause of this cosmos, this world? What use is it? Let our existence be of some use. Let the grace of our masters who has blessed us be of some use. Put to some use. I don't say we become Supermans and liberate or become the cause. Let's not become the cause. Let us not become the doers. We are not the doers. But let us just at least flow with that divinity, with that pure intentions that are flowing in this cosmos for the upliftment. There is so much, I am sure. The great rishis, the great seers have held up this kind of places with their light, with their divine love and light, with their positive intentions, with great affirmations, due to their compassion and empathy, out of which we have benefited, without which we couldn't have been here, even talking about this or even understanding this. I always tell Arunachala, thank you, thank you, thank you Arunachala, for even giving me the bhakti towards you, for even making me think of you, because it is your grace which I even am able to think of you. Let Arunachala and all the holy hills and all the divine places preserve much divinity on this earth, and may we always be linked to the great masters, to the great the mystics, the great seers, who are the children of that Shiva, who are the children of that Allah, who are the children of God, who are the children of divine love and light. Because they vibrate in the higher frequency. And if we are in their shelter, if we are in their aura, we are protected, we are guided. Let us be in that communion. I am telling you, if we raise our frequency, we will definitely come across all those who are the children of that light. It is not that they are not here. It is not that they do not want to help us. It is all depend on how much we want to help ourselves. If we want to help ourselves, we need to raise our vibrations. I am telling you, yesterday I was in the holy temple of Arunachaleshwara, and I was about to take darshan of the Jyotirlinga, of the Agni Lingam. And before I was able to enter, a beautiful thing happened. I didn't want to share this, but I'll still share because it's going with the topic of relevance, what I'm talking. As I was entering in one chamber into other, there are 5 chambers almost in this great huge temple. So as one after the other I was entering, I saw there was a huge line in the general queue. Because it's Mahashivratri and 2 days it has been full and very difficult to get even the darshan. So I thought, let me take another path. There is another easier way in that, where you got to take a ticket and move. It's all okay. Because I wanted to spend more time and more in the closer vicinity. I'm reminded of the beautiful thing that happened to my master here, my Guru, my Gurudev, Abdul Shivanand. Many times he has himself mentioned to me the beautiful things that have happened to him here. Because he has visited all the Jyotirlingas, all the Shakti Pitas. And exclusive experiences. So when I was moving toward the Garbhagriha, all that I was in my attention and awareness was my Gurudev and his experiences. And also was in my awareness the great masters and seers who have been linked to Arunachaleshwara. And as I was thinking that and moving towards the Garbhagriha, I was in a state of joy and there were tears flowing. And suddenly I saw somebody behind me. It was a queue. There was a tall guy who was singing out loudly some good songs. But it was inappropriate because it was disturbing my peace. And he was a tall guy, so I looked at him once, trying to communicate to him, please. And he saw my irritation. And he was amused. Probably decided to irritate me a little more, so he began singing a little more louder. And I was perturbed for a moment. So what I did was I moved aside and I showed him the way, please go ahead. He and his wife were there. I said, you go ahead, so that I can move behind, avoid this noise. So he stepped in front, he pulled his wife also, and there was a lady, I think a woman of his family or somebody, I don't know. So 3 people moved aside and I stepped aside. When they moved, I was relieved, back in my peace. And at that moment, someone from the temple authorities came and made way and said in Tamil, move, make way, right in front of me. That 3 people whom I let aside, they went that side, and this person came and made way. And suddenly, a man in orange robes, almost dirty and torn, stepped in front of me, a thin man. Now, the temple authorities suddenly pushing in somebody and making way for somebody. I knew he must be somebody. With great reverence, where tears were still flooded in my eyes as I was in that mode. And he was walking and he was very humble. He was folded his hands and in his dirty robe, which was touching me when it was moving. I was overjoyed. I knew there's someone. So the man behind me, I asked him, who is this? He said, he is a Siddha. That is noticeable today in Arunachala. He is the known Siddha who people know. I asked him, what's his name? He whispered into my ears, we do not know. Nobody knows. He doesn't talk to anybody at all. Nobody knows. He wanders in this place. I said, thank you. And as I stepped in, my foot touched him by mistake, and I was like, oh my God. I was so perturbed because my feet touching him, because there was a step there, and he was not perturbed at all, as though he was not even aware of what is happening to his body and who is touching her. So when my foot touched him, I held his, it was a reflex. I touched his shoulder, like, oh, I'm sorry. When I touched, I realized, oh my God, I'm touching him, and pulled my hand back. When that happened, I thought he'll turn or something. He never looked back. He was in his own world. His hand folded, waiting for them. And few steps more, and the Jyotirlinga, the Agnilingam was there. Shiva himself. And he just stood, pranams to it, and moved. He didn't wait there, stop. He was following the discipline of people. He just took darshan and walked. Then I also looked at my attention was more on him than the linga at that moment. I moved behind him, continued moving behind him. And I saw, like us, officially we were not taking the vibhuti and applying it because the priest offers, or it is very nicely given. He didn't take any of that. But the ash, the vibhuti that people throw after putting little spare, they put it on the pillars or put it here and there, what they throw. This Siddha was actually, this Avadut, he was an Avadut. He was actually smearing that in his hand and rubbing it and walking fast and rubbing it. And he was in his state and I was moving behind him. I walked till the Aman temple, the Shakti temple, just after the Shiva temple, till there. And I saw him move at great speed. And then I lost him because he went into some other way where public is not allowed. And since he has access, so I lost him from there. I called my friend and I told him. He was standing in the line, my friend. I told him, this Siddhar is here. Let's try to have his darshan. But he was not seen in the crowd. He was lost. Then we had Aman's darshan. We took the kumkuma. We applied to our forehead and we were moving around. And I was talking to my other friends that this thing happened. And suddenly he appeared again from there. He was moving from this and we waited for him. Wait for him. So he gave darshan to them also. And he walked away from there. This was my one beautiful experience of yesterday. Of how I was thinking, I was contemplating, oh my God, whatever happens, happens for good. That guy who was screeching into my ears and me getting irritated happened for good. Because if I wouldn't have let him go ahead, these three people would have been behind me and that Siddha would have come behind that and I wouldn't have even known. It was as though something spontaneously working in this environment and making things happen and do. We do not know. These are the mysteries of that God principle. We do not know. I didn't want to share this, but it came in that topic, so I shared it. Anyways, it's time now for me to leave, and I'm leaving from here. I've missed this place. I'll come again here after a couple of months. If you guys come here, do stay centered, do stay in a pure awareness. Throw away all your activities that you come. You are already doing it in the world. When you come here, come in peace and stay minimum 3 days. Minimum 3 days in this space. And be absorbed in the space of Arunachala, this hill, and the people around, the holy people around, this Girivallam that you do, the Parikrama that you do, and the holy temple that is there. Spend 3 days here, in and around in Arunachaleshwara, absorbed in this. I assure you, lot of mysterious things will happen. I met many, I'll tell you, at least 4 of them here. In just short 1.5 day trip here. 2-day trip, you can call it. Who look into my videos, I do not know. They recognized me and they came and talked. And it was such a joy to see these people. All divine souls. I'm so happy to meet them. As happy they were to meet me. This is one beautiful family. One beautiful family of divinity and light. Divine love and light. So I'm so happy that it's not a big world. We met here. And we have all the same kind of vibrations, same kind of intentions towards this place, towards our own self, and towards the realizing of the highest truths. So that brings me joy. And I would always welcome you, as every time I tell you about in this my videos in Tiruvannamalai. One of the guys who met me here came here through my videos on Tiruvannamalai and he wanted to know more. And he said he wrote to me, but he had no reply. But he was longing for a reply and he was surprised to see that Arunachaleshwara gave him that opportunity to get the reply here in person. So I was also amazed at these beautiful things happening. So if you come here, you can stay here, and if you have any thing with, you can always contact Ashok bhai, who is my very good friend here in Tiruvannamalai. I stay at his place. He has got a paying guest, a modest one. It's not a very high, but a modest one. And here we don't need hi-fi stuff. You come here with detachment and just for the space here, I believe you can always call Ashok bhai, talk to him and book your space in his paying guest room. That is the paying guest where many saints have also stayed, like Mata Amritanandama, Amma, he has stayed there, and Muji ji has stayed there. So it's a blessing to be in that space, in that modest, and I love that space. With plus or minus whatever is there, I love that space. I stay in that place always. So if you come here, and there is plenty of accommodation and things around here. I do not know, but those who are coming with family, sometimes they write, sometimes they ask about accommodation. I would just say talk to Ashok bhai and you can fix it there or whatever. He will be able to guide you here. So you can do that. I'll leave his phone number also. I do not remember. I'll leave it in the link here. If you need. If you already have this, fine, well and fine. You can go ahead and do that. So I find It's a little sad to leave this place. I don't like leaving this place, but still, because I know I'll come back here again. So let the grace of Arunachala prevail with all of us. Please put a little more intention of your love and light on all those places in the world which are little dark, which is undergoing suffering and misery. Even if things are deteriorating, it's not happening. Don't worry about it. Let us not sit back and complain and just sympathize and advise and talk and gossip about it, because I find many people say nothing is happening. Yesterday somebody was telling me nobody is helping. Nobody is helping. Look at the news. They are having troubles. Nobody is helping. I said yes, nobody is helping. You and me are also not helping. By talking, nothing is going to happen. By sympathizing, nothing is going to happen. Let us do something. Why are we waiting for everybody to do? Oh, what can I do? Yes, you can do it. You are a being of light who are aware of your light, divine love and light. When are you going to use it? You pray instead of complaining. World is not doing, government is not doing, this country is not supporting, that country is not doing. What are you supporting? What are we supporting? Let us support first. It is as good as I was telling them yesterday. It is as good as saying, oh my God, that animal is suffering. I can't see. It's bleeding. Oh my God. Oh my God. God bless. Somebody help it, please. Somebody help it, please. Please help it. And God, please, please. Oh my God. And they are hurrying back home. Oh my God. So bad. So bad. Why is God like this? And on the way back, they are saying, oh, 1 kilo chicken dena bhai. And they buy 1 kg chicken for their family and for their own consumption. And dogs have come here. Take. I carry some biscuits and all for them always. Take. So, I was saying, instead of us complaining, nothing is happening, this is not happening, they are not doing, let us do it. Let us become that which we are seeking in others. So once we do it, then we can say that something is happening. Let that support be from ourselves first. Why don't we do that? This guy is sitting here. Another. This hill is full of dogs and monkeys. They can become your guide and even protectors. Look at these guys. Beautiful ones. So please let us put our intentions and pure divine love and light to those areas. Instead of thinking this is not happening, because we manifest what we think. Why do you need to think on that? Think of what you want. You want peace in the world. Think of it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes after your sadhana, after your spiritual practice. Think about them. Pray to the Divine One. Something happens in their lives, in all our lives. So with this, dear ones, I take your leave. It has been nice communicating with you, and I feel refreshed and overwhelmed that I was able to share this with the grace of my Master, Gurudev, and grace of the Guru Mandala and grace of Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva it is called. So stay blessed and lots of divine love and light from the bottom of my heart to you. Stay blessed. Gurudev Sharanam, Guru Mandala Sharanam.